All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ginge and Pedro show. I believe this is episode 39. I've got me, I'm awake, and looks like Pedro. Okay, there he is. All right,
What's up, guys? How you doing?
he's alive. Very good.
Welcome
All
to
right,
the
Pedro.
Ginge and Pedro show. I'm extremely hungover. I'm too old for this, but I'm here to work.
I've never seen you so salt and pepper with that chin beard. I mean, that's
Oh
that's
yeah, dude. I'm. It's time to show my age. Like I've always been like clean shaven, but this is me, guys. I'm
hmm,
I'm old man Caicedo over here.
the
So
El Gigante de Panama's seemingly
yeah,
aged 20 years overnight. It's
El
incredible.
Viejo Gigante. Yeah, I'm going for the Morgan Freeman without the freckle thing.
I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
interesting. Yeah,
All
bro.
righty. Okay, so we have alongside us today a very interesting guest, Dan Plegel, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Better known to the streets, very good. Better known to the streets is Boob Dan Art, which is going to be a
Yeah.
fun thing to talk about. Let's go ahead and bring him on in. Boob Dan, good
Hey
to see you, sir.
guys.
What's happened?
I
Thank
love
you
how
for joining
Pedro's
us.
always rubbing it in that he lives on in a tropical vacation locale.
Yeah.
Now
Dude.
he's transitioned. Before it was just like inside of a room with like outside and you could hear like the jungle and stuff. Now he's straight up in like practically in the jungle in a hammock.
Yeah,
So,
I know. I'm milking it, man. I'm milking
oh
it.
my god.
I
And
have
he's
to
got the
say.
Hawaiian punch shirt on, the vintage style.
Oh God, I didn't even
Yeah.
see
Great.
that. Wow, right on, Pedro. Waiting for a bushel of bananas to fall in your lap and like some honeys just
Oh,
come over here and like
A drink
dancing
comes from the
along.
side of the screen.
I go, thank you. It's just like
Let's say hello to
no,
the chat real quick, everybody. We got some
let's do it.
regulars up in here. We got Shadowhawk
Oh,
talks. Hey,
there we go.
he's talking now.
Shout
I like
out.
that.
Oh, replicants in
That's
here
my
too.
good morning, replicant. Good to see you,
What's
buddy.
up, brother?
Thanks for coming by. Hey, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for coming, sir. They got a great YouTube channel. I think they pretty much run opposite of our schedule. They're a nightly show over there on the
They
good
are.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right, Shadowhawk says Pedro was never the same after that day in the laundry. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what he's talking about, but I hope it's not some Oz type laundry scene.
Yeah, no, we're talking about Shawshank Redemption over there.
We got both the good stuffs here.
Hey,
Yeah.
good
That's
morning,
double
good
The good
stuff.
isn't it?
Oh God, boy, I like it. Double stuff in it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So Dan,
Yes.
let's the way we do this show is we like to start a little bit about getting to know the guy, the man behind the mask, as it were, and then we just dive right into the project. So let's just talk a little bit about you as a creator. Could you tell us, what are your main influences in comics, like growing up or whenever you started reading? Just who are your big three?
Do you mean like the ones that started me off, or do you mean like just in general, like my favorites?
Growing up, who were your original favorites, and then maybe you can kind of like who are
My
your favorites
original
today?
favorites was Gary Talek. I believe I don't know if that I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was a Filipino artist that they had that was drawing Unknown Soldier, and I would say there's one of the guys that drew Conan back in the day. I have the issue over there on the wall. I'll have to look at it in a minute. But I want to say, man, I can't remember his name. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna look.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to stump the.
No,
the
it's not
panel
a
so
stump.
early.
It's like I should know. I'm terrible with remembering names sometimes.
You ruined it,
Off
Ginge.
the wall
Oh God!
and knock everything down.
Blame it on the ginger.
So Ernie Chan. Ernie Chan was another one of my influences,
Right on.
and or like one of the early ones because I liked Ernie Chan's Conan stuff. And then I guess maybe the artist on the first issue of G.I. Joe, like some of the early G.I. Joe stuff.
Mm.
because that's like G.I. Joe was probably the first comic series that I collected regularly, and then I think like this was my first comic ever, which was this issue of Conan, which is Conan number 114.
Right on.
And
Love that cover.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then it was a 2-pack in a grocery store, and then I didn't get any comics for a while, and then I saw they had G.I. Joe comics because I was into G.I. Joe, and I collected G.I. Joe, and then I was really into Robotech as well, so I was collecting Robotech. And then from there, I found the Aliens comic books, the very first one, which was like by Rick Veitch, I think, or something like that. And
Nice.
And then from there, I was just like, I dived in on all kinds of indie stuff, like, you know, Aircell, Comico, found Tim Vigil.
Tim Vigil. Cool.
Yeah, I was really into all the kind of the indie stuff that wasn't really mainstream.
Good Stuff says that you saw Tupac in a grocery store. Is this
Tupac? A 2-pack. It was Spider-Man and Conan, and the Spider-Man issue, I don't know whatever happened to it, but I was like, the Conan one I was all about. I don't think the Spider-Man issue that was in it was very interesting, if I remember correctly. It was
Dan, you mentioned Robotech. So
yes.
Did you find the comic first or the animation first?
Oh, the animation for sure.
Yeah.
And then I saw that there was a comic, and I started collecting the comic when it came out. And yeah,
dude, those Harmony Gold guys were like very, very quintessential for mecha anime.
Yeah.
Is them like they were just buying properties willy-nilly. Like that Robotech is like Macros and 2 other series just mashed together and came up with the story themselves. But
Billy knows. I don't remember the name of the company, but Billy knew the name of the art house that made all those different shows that the Masex bought up. One of the ones that they were gonna do, that was originally gonna be, they were thinking about editing it up and turning it into Robotech the Sentinels, was a series called Orgis. And they started it, and there was a girl in there that looked just like Min-Mei, and so they called her Min-Mei, I think, even in the thing. So like they were trying to like dovetail that in, and I think as like they were going along, it wasn't working out with what they wanted. So they only dubbed, I think, like 9 episodes of the run or whatever. But yeah, but I love that specific style of like hand-drawn animation, the Japanese style, was what I was like all into back then. Like
that was the character designs of the time.
Yeah.
After that, then came like a more angular, like the Slayers or like Magic Knight Rayart. Like it became more angular. I don't know. Like I really like the character design from the first Macross and from Future Boy Conan, which is like more rounded. Like they were watching what Miyazaki was doing and tried to emulate it. So yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time for those properties.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't want to derail you. Please continue in our journey of your influences.
No, I don't know. I think I think I answered the question, and we were just kind of like we're expounding on it, I guess.
I'd say so. It's a good segue into. So Pedro's living his best life over there, as we can see. Yeah. Got the toucans and everything.
I feel like a chicken on a boat right now, living my best life.
Oh my god!
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe Boob Dan can draw you with a sweet set of tits and a bikini, just catching some rays.
Possible.
Yeah. How much would that commission go for, Dan?
Oh my god! I would just do it for you.
I think I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
No, but let's. So before we do get into the campaign, and thank you for Ashton for sharing it. Big shout out to Leo there. Is this your first project? Is this your first stab at being a creator? Because this book, let me share it. I'm over here looking at it. Everything on the campaign looks incredible. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes and no. It's my first actual crowdfunding campaign that I've done myself. But this book, I originally did it as like a short form little mini floppy comic to have at shows, which everybody's asked to have that as an add-on. So it's on the campaign as an extra to get the reprint.
Very nice.
And it's more, that book is a we'll answer that in a second.
That's a
The
great
pressing question.
Yeah. I mean, part of it's just like I'm a dude, so that happens. Yo, Oliver. Woo!
Ollie, what's happening, brother?
And
Top Ali.
so I have done a couple, like I did I did comics for a little bit back in the late 90s for Boneyard Press. They're famous for the Jeffrey Dahmer comic and the Rush Limbaugh versus Jesus Christ. And
The Jeffrey, is that My Friend Dahmer? Is that the Jeffrey Dahmer comic? Or is there another one?
I think it's just the Jeffrey Dahmer comic. I think it's just called Jeffrey Dahmer. It's just like it's like a true crime thing or whatever, where they, like, it's not like Jeffrey Dahmer's a superhero or anything. It's literally kind of like a documentary about Dahmer in comic book form.
Yeah, there was a comic called My Friend. I don't know if this is the same book, but there was a comic called
one.
Yeah, it sort of sounds like it, but there's a really interesting graphic novel done by this dude, Backdurf. He's got a strange name, but he was a guy that grew up with Jeffrey Dahmer, like was part of his friend group, and was an artist. And like when he found out all that crazy shit about Jeffrey Dahmer, he ended up turning that, like, their childhood growing up in school into a graphic novel. It's very interesting.
And yeah, it's definitely not this. This other thing's completely different.
That sounds disturbing.
It's just a comic book. It's nothing too wild, really. But sorry, carry on.
No. I was just listening. But yeah, so I did some books for him, and then initially I did a couple of my own. I did this like giant monster sort of kaiju book, which this might be the next campaign that I do, just like real quick, because it's more or less done. There's 6 pages that weren't in it because I was trying to keep both of these are short because I was trying to keep the printing costs down, because it was super expensive even on print on demand. I was practically giving them away. But so yeah, I did a couple of those, and they're a little rough, but I mean they're still kind of fun little books. So when I came over and started hanging out over here, and Dan Frega and Matt Yackey and stuff were like saying you should totally do a comic, like this crowdfunding thing is perfect for you, like you should totally do this. And I was like, all right, and then I was like milling over what I was going to do, and I had like this other book that's more or less done as well. It's like nice. Ninjas and stuff, and it's like it's kind of like She, but it's not. It's like She crossed with like with The Fugitive, sort of.
Okay.
And a little bit of like H.P. Lovecraft in there, like just a drop. But I was gonna go ahead and do that. I was like finishing up some covers for it, and I was like showing some stuff to Phil. I was like, what do you think is like not what storyline thing is not being fully served in this market over here where everybody's doing what they're doing? And I think he was in like a back chat with a bunch of the people from his like Monday show or whatever, which would be like Edwin the Ace and a bunch of other people. And I think he told them a bunch of concepts that I had. And out of all of them, I guess they wanted to see the Goblin Girl. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll do the Goblin Girl. So I put that other one on hold. And I initially was like, well, I've got 16 pages of Goblin Girl here. And I had like an additional 8 pages that didn't go into it because I was trying to keep it short. And so I was like, well, I can put those 8 pages back in. And then I kind of want to like add a couple pages here to buff out the book a little bit, make it a little nicer. And as I was doing that, like I was adding those couple extra pages, I was like, oh man, the style doesn't even match the way this stuff looks. And I didn't really want to try and like shoehorn myself back into these old shoes. So I was like, forget it. I'll just redraw the whole thing. Maybe I could use a panel here or there. And then I was like, no, can't do that either. So I ended up redrawing the whole thing. So So yeah, so that's how the Goblin Girl ended up happening. And the only other thing I think recently that I've done besides that is actually fulfilling right now, like people are getting them, is I did a book called Lady Ragnarok, which was on Kickstarter, and it actually did better than Goblin Girl. So,
Nice.
and it's black and white. Yeah,
Very nice.
It made like it made like a couple hundred under. It's like 29,800 or something like that.
Right on.
Yeah,
Dude.
it
Very
did.
nice.
It practically took me technically it took me 2.5 weeks. Because that's how long I took to kind of rough it out and pencil and ink it. I'm working on the second volume right now, actually, which is going to help fulfill all the Goblin Girl stuff because I got to pay for shipping and everything. So,
so is that Kickstarter still up? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just curious.
Which one, the Lady Ragnarok?
Right, yeah, the black and white.
No, they only do them. They only do them for 30 days over there, I believe. And once they're done, they're done. The second campaign is supposed to like launch, I think, in like September, October, and on that he's going to have the ability to have like a catch up tier where you'll be able to get issue 1 as well.
Very nice.
If you want to get that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I did that one. I did really well. So as soon as we get this one ready to go to print, for Indiegogo, I'm probably going to do a Kickstarter version, and for 30 days, and the cover that's going to be on that Kickstarter version is going to be a print that I'm going to throw in with the Indiegogo one. So everybody that did the Indiegogo doesn't have to worry; they don't have to go over there and buy. Like you're going to get all the extra stuff from that.
Very nice.
It's going to be over there.
All right.
I mean, I guess if you really want the cover on the cover, like you can go get it, but like. Funny enough, I did the cover initially. It was going to be a swimsuit piece for Phil Diaz's thing, and then I ended up not being able to be in it because my Goblin Girl's not going to fulfill in time. So it's going to be my variant cover for the Kickstarter one.
Right on. Okay. Yeah. So Kickstarter, that's actually something. It's I guess we'll just have to have you back for another Kickstarter specific show because Pedro and I are looking at doing that for Tropical Magics, and we're just sort of perusing the landscape now. But I'm sure Pedro, I'll speak for him. We'd love to, just sort of pick your brain on
yeah.
Well,
I just barely started dabbling in it. I would say the only difference that I've noticed so far, obviously, is how long you have the campaign up and that they don't have in demand. And the structure of the building function, because in Indiegogo they kind of have like a dashboard, and then you have like the dashboard when you're looking at it, you can actually kind of see the page as you're laying it out a little bit. Whereas the Kickstarter one, from what I can see, is you just type in stuff and then you say, I want an image in there, but you don't actually see the thing in the layout. Like it's like trial and error thing. You got to put stuff in and then see how it looks and then go back and then have to arrange stuff. And the images are way more confining, I believe, on the Kickstarter one. You can't use the ones from Indiegogo because theirs are a different format. And I think even might be a different graphical file. Like they might have to be a TIFF or a PNG or something. But other than that, like it seems pretty. The one thing I don't know is I don't know how long. Like, because the thing that messed me up, that I lost my mailing list initially on Indiegogo, is once you click the button like to start, like you're like, hey, I want to do an Indiegogo thing, and the minute you click that and start going into your thing and like putting in the name of your book or whatever, that's the beginning of your your 6 months or whatever it is that you get. It's not when you like launch the mailing list page. It's like it's literally when you start building it. And I don't know if there's something like that with Kickstarter, as far as I'm aware. So
interesting. Okay, well, right on.
But I
Thank you
guess
for
that's
that.
not all information I probably should have given on here because they probably want to hear more about art or whatever.
I wanted to introduce you guys to the killer, the serial killer parrot Ricky, but he's too noisy.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I went there. But dude, like he started filing his beak and looking at me funny. So
Oh boy, it's just missing an eye and got a bunch of feathers out of place.
Was it Amanda B that had the question earlier?
Something about boobs.
Something about
Oh,
boobs.
the boob.
Yeah.
Yes. What?
When did it
No,
start?
that's a good question though. What
Oh,
Take
when
us
did the
deep into
fascination
your
with boobs come in?
psychology
Okay,
here.
so the fascination is this. I'm like, your stereotypical girl crazy guy, and I've always been attracted to curvy ladies. I mean, when I was like really young, my grandfather used to watch Elvira's Afternoon, like horror movie show thing or whatever, and so I was introduced to Elvira really young. I watched as a kid a bunch of times. I watched the opening scene to Conan where the witch, the Stygian witch attacks Conan in the cave, and so there was a little bit of that. But the thing in the comics, funny enough, is almost kind of like beyond the fact that it's comics and it's kind of like goofy and like it's supposed to be fun, like eye candy sort of stuff. It really started because I couldn't draw women very well. Like all my women look like men, and so when I first started drawing comics, I just gave the women bigger boobs just to be like, that's a girl and not a guy, like sort of thing. And then as I got better and I kind of like started trying to do like around that time was the time I was looking at a lot of like Alan Davis and Art Adams and Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane stuff, and I started trying to draw like more not necessarily realistic, but less cartoonish looking, because the early stuff was very anime looking because I was into Robotech like a lot. When I first started trying to draw my own comic stuff, it was like right around that time. So when I went away from the anime style and went more sort of towards a comic book, I was like, I think I was trying to be Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy for a while, like / heavy metal. I was like into Richard Corbin, big boob artist guy or whatever. But I was trying to draw more like humanistic looking people, so like I toned it down and made them more. I was trying to stylistically learn practical anatomy, and I would show my comics work to friends that I had, and they would just be like, "Well, where are the giant boobs at, man? You always have the giant boobs in here." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Like, I just was. I've been trying to work on the anatomy. Like, I was trying to rein it in. They're like, oh man, they're like, you got to keep that. Like, that's your gimmick. You got to have that." And I'm like, all right. So I always would there would always be some character in there that looked like that in some form, and it's just kind of carried over. And I guess it's just my thing. And then when I went on to DeviantArt, like early on in the early days, back in the early 2000s, and like everybody, that's all they wanted on there was my big boob stuff. So that's all I did. Commission.
It was truly deviant art from the get-go.
Yeah. So,
no, but from what you've described, it kind of sounds like that old art adage. It's like, don't worry about when you're learning to draw at first, whether it's good or not, just draw and develop your own style and just sort of lean into that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Very
like,
nice.
You'll find what works for you, I guess, is the best way I can say it. But I mean, there's other guys that are like, they want to look just like some artist and they'll do the thing to look like that guy. But I think eventually they find their own thing a little bit. It's like trying to think of an artist that I can think of that did that, but I don't know if there's anybody specific.
That's all right, because we can go ahead and hop into why you are actually joining us this morning, and that's to pitch your book, The Goblin Girl.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So if that's all right with you, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the trailer here. We'll go ahead and start it off. Just let me know
It's going to
if
be
you can
super
hear it all
quiet
right.
as usual because I messed up the audio.
Is that good for y'all? Can y'all hear it?
It's probably as good as it gets, actually.
Very well. All right. Very nice.
Came out
So
pretty
did
good.
you do the? Yes, absolutely. The music is very driving. I'm a drummer by
It
trade,
sounds way better when you actually hit the audio at appropriate level when you output the video. But we were rushing like last minute, like the morning of, trying to like get everything together. Like we thought we had enough stuff built, but we didn't. I don't even think I had my I don't even think we had the funds thing hooked up to like a bank account yet. Like that morning, like I was like hooking everything up. And I output the video with the audio too low on the compression thing or whatever, and it's super low. But yeah, I made the music for it, and I made the little editing and everything.
Really? Hell yeah, brother. Very nice.
There's another version of it that's the tempo's sped up a little bit and it's louder that Shanth and Jetty did. That's really good. But I don't have the file of it. It's just he shares it on his show a lot.
So you made the music as well? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I made it with was like a music mix application.
Very nice. A man of many talents. Very cool, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the book then. We've got dark humor fantasy. Excuse me. Dark humor fantasy adventure of epic cleaving and cleavage proportions.
Yes.
Very clever. Very nice. All right, so take it away, my friend. What's the quick pitch here? What do we
the quick pitch is it's just it's like a fun sword and sorcery like fantasy adventure book. It's in the vein of like Elvira booby tease sort of action main character in a Lord of the Rings world that has gone Mad Max. And basically most of the main characters are either characters that are fractured somehow. They're all a bunch of them are they're characters that have done things in their past or have fallen short of coming through in the moment when they were needed, and now like everything is gone, and most of these characters now are trying to they're trying to put things back together or do what they can where they can, sort of thing. And Goblin Girl is just she is not that. She is she's like a feral creature that is set loose from a prison that she was put in by her kin for being hideously disgusting. And so then she comes into the world, but she uses a magic item to do that. Also, she destroys the Goblin Kingdom, and they had a bunch of magic items there, and by using one of them, she kind of wakes up the dormant sort of world of magic and fantasy that kind of went dormant for a really long time because of a great cataclysm thing that they had that was caused by an event. So as they come into the world, stuff has been for a while has been there's no kingdoms, just people roaming around, kind of living the best they can off the land. But now things are going to start to happen again, and like a big bad, as they say, has arisen again to also cause havoc. So that's where we find in this first book. So the first issue is really kind of setting up who our kind of our A team is, if you will, of the group. And then the second issue will be more or less them coming together and kind of doing a task together. And it also, the second issue will also set up most of our antagonists, I guess, for this initial first story arc. But most of the first issue is just a big jailbreak thing for Goblin Girl. So it's lots of boobs warbling around and mass violence.
Yes, and honestly, I think I'd be disappointed if I didn't get anything less than that.
Yeah, I mean,
just
pretty
based
much.
off of this right here.
I feel like you're getting what we're selling here with these images, and Billy and some of the other people that have seen some of the other pages and some of the other characters that aren't really in this promo art, because I had to I was still working on it when we did this stuff. A lot of that stuff is like, it's, I don't know, like, I think oddly enough, Billy is always saying to me, he's like, yeah, man, like, people aren't ready for this. Like, they think it's just a titty book. He's like, they don't know what's on the back end of this. Like, there's some epic shit in here that's like not this. Like, and so it's always it's a weird thing for me, like, because when I create this stuff, I'm really creating this for myself. This is like the storylines that are entertaining me in my head, and I just want to get it on the page. So I'm hoping somebody likes it, but I don't know. At the end of the day, everybody seems to like what's going on so far, so that's exciting. I'm like, I hope I don't lose them with all the other stuff, but everybody that's seen it says like it's going other places in the book, like visually and like characters and like plot wise, that a lot of people are coming into like we have a certain crowd that obviously loves the aesthetic of the cleavage proportions, but
right.
but we are basically telling a Lord of the Rings, like hardcore, like Conan the Barbarian sort of adventure tale.
Yes, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting in terms of, you can tell based off of the art, the characters. There's a lot of design and everything. I'm a new letterer, let's say, and I see that Matt Barr did your letters.
Matt Barr is handling all my lettering tasks. He redid the design on the logo. It's kind of how the original one was, but he beefed it up and gave it like a lot more character. And it's way stronger than what I did. The one I did is almost the one I did is almost just like simple, like handwriting, like single line, like sort of handwriting out like a word. And then Matt came in and made it like 3-dimensional and block and like gave it shadow. And he really beefed it up and gave it some texture in there even.
Absolutely. This is beautiful. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I was like, that needs to be on everything. I remember when he told me, when he showed that to me, I was like, I just want the logo. Like, I need a stuffed animal version of the logo. I need ice cream shaped logo.
I'm a sucker for stickers, like really good stickers. And I've noticed that a really good logo sticker, I've been putting a bunch of just whatever stickers come with campaigns on my desk.
Submarine Treehouse.
It's just, we got, hey, what's up, Armand? What's happening, brother? Pedro was here earlier. He seems to have disappeared. So,
oh no,
just be us riding.
He fell off the hammock into a drink.
Oh, God. Well, we won't see him for another 12 hours then. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but yeah, no, Matt did a really great job on the logo. And my other question is who did the actual, is this him as well on the campaign art design, or did you do this?
Oh, I did that. I did the little graphic things and Billy colored them. And then Matt put text over them.
Hey, okay, very cool.
So yeah,
a team effort.
Yeah, it came out pretty good. We kind of wanted it to be fun and kind of, you know, I think we're gonna probably do like a 50-50 thing next time. Not so much of all the banners with the text on the banners, just because it doesn't trend as well with keywords if you have just graphics. So we need to like. I was thinking for a while about taking out some of the text banners and putting the text just in the field so that we have keywords that hit on search engines and stuff.
Yeah, I will say that just like something that does jump out at me as I read through this is there's actually not a lot of reading to be done, which in a comic book really isn't a bad thing at all. I mean, the art pretty much does.
But you want a good balance of it. I mean, you don't want it to, like, there's some stuff like recently that I've gotten, like some comics, and it's like I'm thinking about reading it, and I'm just like, this is a lot of reading. This is like a textbook. There's so much reading in this. So
yeah,
there is definitely an art to just giving enough dialogue to move the story along, and I mean you don't want too little, because then people are just kind of like, well, there's not much here other than, I mean, the visuals, obviously it's a comic book, so it's got to be visually interesting, but you kind of want a little bit of you're hoping for that con moment, you know, of from hell's heart I stab at thee, you know. So you want some good lines in there that stick out to people, you know, or like in The Watchmen, they'll scream up at me to save them, and I'll say no.
You're not. What is it? I'm not trapped in here with them. Yeah, I'm trapped in here with me. Something like that.
Exactly, stuff like that. You know, so the dialogue is important. It does. It does make it last.
I think that's like the old. It's like 1 + 1 = 2 in a sense with comic books. It's like you can get. I haven't fully read. Actually, I haven't even started. I just picked it up 2 or 3 days ago. Let me grab this manga that just came out.
I just feel for myself like I try my best to get that sweet spot of not too much talky, but not too little.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's this manga that I found the other day called Colorless, which basically it's got a really beautiful cover. All of color has left the world. I mean, it's a manga, so it's in black and white anyways. there's like little dabs of color throughout the thing, but on the very last page, there's just a simple black page that has a really great. Yeah, it says
it's got some tennis in there.
Right. It says the earth was stripped of all color, making mutants out of man. Like just a simple little black page with a great one-liner. I opened that and was like, wow.
There is a book on your back wall that is perfection in all things. It is the perfect level of what I was just describing, which is the quality of the art and storytelling and the writing and just enough dialogue to sell what you need without boring you with too much dialogue, which is that book right there on your wall, Mighty Mascots.
Ooh, I had a feeling.
That is probably my favorite indie comic that I have read in years. It's absolutely perfect, top to bottom. Even in its format that it comes in, the fact that it's on newsprint is pretty amazing. So
yeah, Keith, he absolutely nailed that book. I mean, it's just,
to me, it's a masterpiece. It sounds crazy to say that probably to some people, but I'm just saying, like if you want like to boil something down to what like a perfect comic, in my opinion, it's that book. Like I got that and I was just like, oh man, I need to make something that's at least this good. I was like, this is so good. And
he was really smart with characterization. Like you really like all of the characters. You can feel that there's like obviously nods to the, you know, like the classic advertising characters. That's what makes the joke of the whole book. But they all do have their own personalities, and they really do.
The convention is great of what how the thing works. I feel like the humor is really good. It's not not a lot of dad humor, because a lot of people write dad humor. It's got some funny lines that I laughed out loud at. And it's visually stunning, and like I said, it's just enough writing to like keep you entertained with dialogue, but not enough to make you want to put the book down and take a break, because you're just like, I just wanted something light and fun. This is like I'm dedicating 3 hours to reading something, sort of thing. So
Right. Yes,
yeah.
I think there's lots of good properties, IPs, whatever we want to call these things, just creators own stuff that is certainly ripe, let's say, for a cartoon of some sort, but definitely Mighty Mascots has all the flavor, all the fun for a good 20-minute kick.
And that's kind of what I'm looking to do with Goblin Girls. I want it to be kind of like Mighty Mascots, in the sense where it's filling all the little elements you need, where it's going to have I'm hoping it has some good dialogue people enjoy reading, and maybe even some stuff that comes off like that's like I'm hoping in there somewhere I'm going to have I'm your Huckleberry, like some dialogue like that's going to stand out to people. I can't guarantee it, because I feel like sometimes, like, I mean, you can try to do that, but you never know, like, if somebody's gonna like dialogue like that. So, but I mean, in the sense of it, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this book, is just make it badass and fun, and
play for blood. Remember?
That's right.
Great stuff.
Well,
okay, so let's actually, we have a question here for you from Armand. Armand asks, does Dan like narration or only little bits of dialogue? I need to know what this man likes to
I'm going to tell you right now, there's narration, dialogue, and thought bubbles in my book.
Hey-o.
So there's a little bit of everything. This first book has a bit of narration. There's a character literally on the first page that's a narrator, and he's basically, he starts and closes the book, and I don't, he might come back narrating stuff later, but I think just in this initial book, he's narrating till he shows up, and then from there it becomes something else, because he's kind of it's kind of like one of those team things where there's somebody going, yeah, we need a guy that's a bomber. Oh, I know this guy, Jack. He did 7 years in San Quentin for blowing up a bank. The one in the Kansas City job. Like, there's a little bit of an element to that, where this character's kind of like telling you, he initially tells you sort of the history of this world, like, he starts off as a very gross version of Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, where he's like,
oh god,
in the beginning there was tiny little rivers, and then I peed in it. Like, he's like a weird character like that, but he kind of sets up the tone, as it were, for like what you're about to see, that there's kind of homages to things we know, like in the storyline, but kind of showing you that this world isn't like the stuff that he's telling you that would parallel fantasy fiction. When he tells it to you, he's going to be like, oh yeah, the wizard, he took these people off into the woods on a campaign for the quest for such or other, and he came back 6 months 150 pounds heavier with a bag of loot by himself. And it's like, basically he ate his party and
oh man,
stole their stuff. Like there's a bunch of stuff like that in the beginning, where he's kind of like setting up that like that it used to be a fantastical world of quests, dragons, and magic, and then something happened that changed all that, and sent everything into hibernation and killed off a bunch of things. equivalent of a biblical flood sort of scenario happened in this world and
Okay.
knocked everything back to like square -1. And the goblins were the roaches of this world, and they went around and gathered up, you know, whatever they could find and took it down to their little horde underground and then had skirmishes within themselves until we get to where we're at. And that's kind of the setup at the beginning.
So is this a could you tell us how many races, like, or is it just a human race that's like kind of the standard
There's all your
race?
standard like fantasy races in this world. Initially we're not going to see a lot of different ones. There's several different types of goblins. They've all kind of been consolidated under sort of one house at this point in the storyline. So that's kind of where this is at. Like in the second issue, we see, I'm trying to remember what on the second issue we delve into the elves a little bit, and there's some other like miscellaneous like creatures that are going to be in the second one. And then eventually there'll be, you know, dwarves and fairies and all that stuff. But right now it's just the goblins and like there's like a dragon mentioned and some stuff like that. But it's not too heavy on tons of different races in this first issue, because it's mainly about the core unit of the 5 people that are part of the group that it kind of sets up in the beginning. I believe it's 5 at this point. 1, 2.
There's an element of sort of a World of Warcraft kind of, World of Warcraft kind of styling to.
I think maybe in the color styling, probably yes, because Billy has colored this very Worlds of Warcraft, which
absolutely.
I don't want to say I'm not a fan of it necessarily, but I have been fighting it a little bit because I like my stuff. I would say I like my stuff a little more Dawn Bluth, Secret of Nim, Dragon's Lair-ish, and less like Skittles Taste of the Rainbow Worlds of Warcraft.
Okay.
Like, there's a little bit too much purple at times. And I'm Billy, we use purple way too much. We gotta take that back. It needs, like, I feel like some colors, like bright candy-like colors, need to be more sparingly used. They need to be more specific for certain things. I like a lot of stuff to kind of look like dirty and sort of earth tony looking. And there it kind of works because there's magic stuff involved. But yeah, we've had to kick some stuff back because some of it's just like, I'm like, man, this is too bright and it's too colorful almost.
While it's art, it can they do have kind of like a sheen, almost like a candy filter, like a candy coat.
Yes.
Something on it, yeah.
So I've got Billy reining that back a little bit, and he's kind of just now like Wrath Fool has been like this dark, like forest green, like Christmas tree like color, and I'm like, no man, he's like sickly. He's almost like piss yellow green. Like he's not dark green. Like the guy that he's cutting into there, that guy can be green. That's fine. Even though I always imagined him more of like a tannish color, but Billy's pointed out, he's like, well, he can't be tan, and then his outfit's tan. He's like, that will probably look just weird. And I'm like, okay. But Wrathful is very green. And it was like a weird thing where like I'm saying something and Billy's hearing it, but like he's used to, like, when I say that, like I don't know how to describe it. Like when I say a certain color, he is a colorist, so he's thinking in more like warmths and hues and all that stuff, and I'm just like straight up like no, like yellow green, you know, like, and he's like, well, more like this. And I'm like, no, just like, you know, it was like weird thing. And I like almost had to like go show him. I was like, look at this. Like, this is the color tone, like right here. And then it was like weird. Like, it was like I was speaking a different color language. And I really was, because Billy, he builds colors differently when he paints his stuff. And it's there's a lot of layers to like the lighting and the texture and all that. So sometimes, like when I'm explaining something, it's not coming through to him exactly what I want. So like it took a minute for us to like get certain things for him to be able to see, like, because in my head I visualized it already, you know what I mean? I could see the painting on the wall, and it's I'm trying to like somehow plug him into my brain so that he sees the colors the way I see them. Because when I say stuff, sometimes he's kind of going, I don't know if that works, you know, like that's like, it's going to look all the same or something. And then like, it just takes me to like get him to like see one color of something, and then he can see the other thing that I'm seeing, if that makes any sense. Like the visual, like tonal cue of what the shot's supposed to look like. And it took a while for us to get to that point where he could envision what I was seeing in my head visually. And he's done some stuff recently that's just like, it's so dead on and it looks great. And he's like, oh man, he's like, I wish I could have. He's like, this is gonna fix everything. And he's like, I'm so glad we finally figured this out. And I was like, yeah. So he's been going over stuff and kind of like tweaking things. But
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, he's absolutely, these pages you guys have got up here really, really do kick ass.
What's funny is, and even Billy will agree with you, these are so rough and like crude looking now compared to the stuff he's been doing. Like he looks at these now and just kind of cringes. He's like, like, because it's stylistically he's gotten even better as he's gone along. Because this is the first thing he's like sequentially pages of a comic book he's ever colored. He's mainly only colored like poster and like concept art and stuff like that. It's like one image. And so it's like him working with panels and tons of pages has been, because it's 72 pages of actual dialogue story.
Hell yeah.
He's this is a lot for his first thing. So I mean, he's tracking right now at like 3 pages a week. He's been trying to like
nice
of the quality stuff that he's doing. So
so how many pages, how far along are y'all? Is the pencil and inks all done?
Oh, it's all done. It's all done. I got a stack of pages over here.
Oh, right on, bro.
And I've started on the second one already.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, shit. So yeah, you're the writer and illustrator, and we got Billy as the colorist. We'll have to have him on, because I'd love to chat with him. I'm super impressed. Matt's a nice guy.
Oh yeah,
great artist too.
Matt's a phenom of his own.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's
massive paintings recently that I'm just like, oh my god, like
yeah, I saw a bit of that on Twitter. Very cool. All right, so let's talk perks. Let's start up at the top here with our featured perk. So what?
So this one is basically the all-in of the books. So if you want the color version and the gray tone version of the book, you get that. Then you'll also get the original printing of Goblin Girl that I did, which is
yes,
kind of a different style. It's just a short little floppy style comic. And then also there's going to be another I don't know, I think it's probably about 32 pages, and it's all just pencil sketch work that I've done, which is a little like an art book thing or whatever. And I'm gonna have that. And then pretty much all the other ones they're either the Australian one, which has add-ons to get some of the other books added into it, which are the Down Under ones. And then there's the individual for international as well, which I believe you can add the gray tone and the pencil sketchbook in there. But something weird happened with the original Goblin Girl first issue. So all the international ones are all getting the OG Goblin Girl book, no matter what, just because something got messed up with the thing, and they're already paying a ton in like shipping. So I just figured they're buying it anyway, so I'm just going to put it in there.
Very nice.
And then the Goblin's chest here, which is the one down here at the bottom, is it's like kind of like the warts and all sort of box thing or whatever, where you're going to get a t-shirt. There's a replica of the Goblin King's ring in there.
Nice.
We're going to have a Viewmaster with a Viewmaster reel in there.
Can I just ask the obvious, simple question? Is there going to be a
Yes.
sweet set of tits in that viewfinder?
There will be, like, quite a few. I had to go in and like kind of redraw a bunch of art that I had so that it could be 3-dimensionally cut out and like stacked, so it was in 3D.
Very cool.
And but yeah, and that one comes with a little original drawing, and then of course all the books, and then the t-shirt, I think I said, the mouse pad, there's a keychain, there's a bunch of stuff in that one.
Nice.
There's so much that we couldn't even list it all because Kickstarter wouldn't let us. And then after that, see right there, it's going to be art prints, some stickers.
My mouse pad. I guess that's not on there, but that's very cool.
Well, it technically is in there. It's the graphic of her that's right there. That's on all these campaign things. That's going to be like a boob mouse pad thing.
Oh shit!
So so that's going to be in that chest.
Nice, bro.
Hence the Goblin's chest.
Okay.
But
I've got the same mouse pads. I mean, full disclosure, I grew up playing World of Warcraft. And, back in the day when Cataclysm came out, I picked up the collector's edition. I've just used this. This came out in 2010. I've had this mouse pad for that long.
Nice.
Yeah, love a mouse pad.
Yeah, I mean, I have some myself. I haven't I have a couple of them lying around here. Well, quite a few.
Boob Dad strikes again.
Yes. Very cool. So there's that one, and then there's the original art tier, which has a copy of the black and white book and a page of art, and then of course you can add some other books onto it if you want. And then
got some stretch
I
goals.
think that's
right?
it. We had a drawn-in tier, but only 2 people took advantage of it before I took it down. And the only reason why I had to take it down is because I had to finish the book. And but we left it up for like a really long time. I like literally waited the last minute to finish that big 2-pager. But there's going to be other stuff. Like there's a Matt Bar trading card set, which I think is, if you scroll up just a little bit, or down, I guess, you can see them right there. They're part of the Goblin's chest here, but they're also, everybody's getting those now because we hit a stretch goal. There's also another set of cards by EJ Morges that are awesome too, that everybody's gonna be getting as a stretch goal. All the stretch goals currently right now are unlocked. I don't know if we're gonna add any more between now and then, now and completion, just because like every time we add something, it starts getting expensive to print everything because the way things are going with supply chains and such. So I'm like, maybe we got enough stuff. The one thing I've been thinking about doing is, because I'm going to have, given the quantity I had to order, I think I'm going to have the Viewmaster available as a separate purchase if somebody wants to get the Viewmaster and reel set, which has a vintage Viewmaster packet that I made to go with it as well.
Oh man,
the light's a little weird on it. It's making
beautiful.
It weird, but it's done to look like a. See if I can get the lighting to hit just right. It's done to look like a vintage style Viewmaster package.
So it's not exactly like the plastic kids.
Oh yeah, it is. Well, it doesn't have the white paper sleeve, because I guess those are like super expensive to manufacture. Like the equivalent is like these cost me like $4 a piece.
Nice.
And in bulk, like at the highest level possible that I'm ordering them in. So like you can't get them any cheaper quantity wise than what I'm getting at, because how many I ordered. But the paper ones are like $25 a piece at that price tag. Yeah, they're like they're super priced out. Like I was just like, yeah, we're just gonna do these, and these kind of look kind of cool anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, they've got a little more, I guess, tangibility to them. They feel a little more.
I mean, I'd love for just pure retro factor do the white paper sleeve ones, but they're really hard to like. I guess they're expensive to manufacture, and the place that I'm getting them through, they said that right now, because of shortages and stuff, they can't even do the paper ones right now. They can only do the plastic film versions. So.
Well, very well. We got Replicant hopping in here. He says, being basically a lifelong WoW player, that might partially explain why this book appealed to me.
Well, thank you, friend.
Yeah. There's definitely that element of it.
Yeah.
I know WoW's kind of
it's still gonna have a WoW sort of color palette to it. But I mean, because there's a lot of it, like that cover right there, there's not much there that I would change. I mean, that's pretty much right on with what everything is.
A beautiful piece right here.
But it was just like there was some stuff that when we were coloring it, I was just like, this is too shiny. Like her hair looked like it was made of like some sort of like clear candy or something. It didn't look like hair. It looked like glass or something. And I was like, we gotta fix whatever that is so it looks like hair again. I'm like,
like a piece of hard candy or something. Like,
and this here, it has a little bit of that, but not as much. It's you can see the texture of the hair there a little better in this. So I was much happier with that.
Yeah, this looks awesome, bro. This is just lovely all the way around.
He hasn't even finished the back part of it. It's a wraparound cover.
Oh man,
the back part is like it's kind of like more than halfway, but it doesn't have like all the shines and all the texture and stuff done to it. It's kind of he's got it like it's blocked out and it's slightly rendered, but it's not like fully done like this one is. So
okay, well, yeah, dude, right on for sure. This is a beautiful campaign. This is a beautiful book. You can definitely tell. Yeah, I guess I should have touched on this because this kind of answered a few of my questions. But you've definitely been working. So you said you've been working on this project since 2009. I mean,
that's when I originally drew the first book.
Yeah. Right on. Could we get a second look at that first book? Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Me
before we get out of here, I don't want to.
Yeah. Let me switch the screen here.
Oh man. Oh shit.
So this
Very
is
nice.
This is the original book. This is what it looked like. So I put this cover on it because this is the one I used for the commercial.
Very cool.
But so this is the original book. She's like stylistically, she's more like an anime character in this version. Like I said, this page, I think the only thing that's still in the book right now is everything from this top part of the panel I redid, and everything from here down, like art wise, is in the book still. It was the only thing in the book I was like, this is visually, I'm keeping this. So it's the little bit of sourdough that carries on down the line, as it were, with this thing. So I kept that, but I redid this up here because this was just like, it was just too little for what I wanted.
That narrator, that guy speaking right there. You mentioned you had a narrator.
Yes, he's the narrator. He's this like evil sort of wizard guy that shows up. He ends up being part of the team, but there's a little catch to it, which we won't find out till book 2. But he's kind of the narrator that's telling the story of everything in this first issue. But it's not him talking all the way through. It's just like in certain sections. But yeah, so, some of the pages, there was another one. I redid some of these.
Very nice.
One of her original introduction pages. Let me see if I have. I'll show you some.
So is it the enormous boobs or the horns that makes her a a freak, I guess, for lack of a better word, or an outcast.
Everything about her. She's too asymmetrical. She's like some guys would be drooling over like humans, but goblins they can't even look at her because she's just like, no, she's too soft and like she's like her skin is fair, like it's not bumpy and veiny.
Do you have an example in the book of like? I guess there would be examples of like the preferred.
Well, here's the comparison between the new and the old.
Oh man.
So.
Oh man, dude.
So
wow.
There's the top and bottom panel, and then there's that, and then I added some more some sort of story angle to it. So it's changed a little bit.
How do you get all those darks on the back of the original page like that, like those sort of gray tones? Yeah, like on those rocks right there. That
it's just Copic markers. I use like 4 or 5 different Copics, and then I just layer them in like a painting.
Man, very nice, dude. That's awesome.
But like this page, Billy just finished coloring that page. Hold on. I should have pulled some of the stuff aside, but I didn't think I was going to show off pages.
Replicant says, "Ooh."
So this is this page.
Oh man,
it's
okay.
Once again, it's as just like the book. It's expanded. There's more stuff to the page. It's not so much about like before. It was more tell than show, and so I'm putting more show back into this thing than just having it have all this dialogue, having to explain everything.
See, very nice.
There's lots of stuff in here. I'll show you.
That's a great example of growth as an artist and a writer as well. And I think there's been a book, sort of the first book that I backed in crowdfunding was Scott Snyder's Noctera, and it's just because I wanted the script. It came with like a black and white version that had like the script page on one side and then the black and white art on the other. And I just thought that was interesting. And I tend to find myself interested in campaigns that show an artist's growth. Like we also did that with Tropical Magics, like with our art book has a lot of Pedro's original stuff.
Yeah.
Very nice, brother.
So this is the new version of this sort of sequence. So
right on.
It's better now.
that though the original book, that page on the left is nothing to shake a stick at. I love that.
That's true. And what's funny is some of this is in the Viewmaster, and I colored it and like did some stuff to it. So it's
oh yeah,
like in this scene in the Viewmaster, I combined this panel and this panel together to make a Viewmaster 3D shot. So there's a lot of stuff like that in there.
Nice.
Like this page, I haven't. I've been going through the pages and I've been adding gray tone work to everything. I haven't quite gotten to this one yet, but this one now is this.
Damn.
It's like a big.
Woo, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I took both these pages and now they're like a 2-page sort of.
How long does it take you to lay out something like that?
A couple minutes.
Really? Nice.
The layout usually like I do like layout / like pencils probably in about like 20 minutes for something that big. Sometimes faster, sometimes like 10. And then I'll probably work on it for about ink it, like do the line art version, like this whole thing is about an hour.
Nice.
And the gray toning is like about a half hour to 45 minutes, depending on what I'm doing to it.
Yeah, that's actually something Pedro mentioned about you. He said that you were a beast. I was like, okay.
I like to move as fast as I can. I can tell the story to myself. That's usually how I work.
I like it. We got Rex Doom hopping in, a real ball of sunshine. This guy is every morning. He says, "Giant teats."
So that was the the first issue, and it was printed through a print-on-demand place called Comics Express, which I think was owned by Dave Sim, and it's no longer around. So this will probably be the background that'll be on the mini book.
Almost like a sketch cover. You could
well, that's what it was meant to be, as a sketch cover to do a drawing on. But yeah,
man, Dan, really nice work, bro. So,
yeah,
very
thanks,
impressed. Man. Okay, well, let's let me ask you real quick before we wrap up. Is there anything else that we missed, or any additional stuff you'd like to throw in there?
Not really. I mean, it's all pretty much there. I've got Irene's Fiendish Book 2. I just finished the cover for that. I guess I could show that off. There's literally like 1% left to do on it, and I need to go to the art store, I think, and get some new pens to finish it, which is this cover.
Oh man!
She shared it, and it was about 90% done. And I went in this morning and I finished off some more stuff.
You're good with that gleam on a sword, I've noticed.
Yeah, it came out pretty good. Like, some of this was intended to be visually differently, and I messed up some of the line work as I was like inking it, and so this has kind of been a little bit of a war to finish and make it look to quality to be seen on something of Irene's, because she's a craftsman, and I didn't want to just do anything for her thing. She asked me to do a variant cover, and I was like, really? I'm like, all right. And so I tried to do. A lot of people are saying this is probably the best piece that I've ever done, and I won't say yes, and I won't say no. I agree. Like, there's elements of it that I'm just like, wow, like I nailed that.
It's a fully packed piece for sure.
Yeah, I wanted it to look like a Drew Struzan poster, you know, like a Star Wars or Indiana Jones poster. So
I will say this, and I'm not an artist, so I can't say too much about it, but I do think, just generally speaking, even within the big two, I think there's a lack of really exciting covers, and like even just smart art. I can say this of myself because I've commissioned, pieces that, looking back at it, were really great, and I got exactly what I wanted. But what I should have asked for maybe should have been something more exciting. You know what I mean? It's not the artist's fault. It's just I didn't ask for something more exciting. I think there's a little bit more of I think there's a lot of room. I think people love covers. Like, I got a wall full of like covers, that I just use as art pieces because I love the art. But I think going forward, I'd like to see, just in general within my own work, but also others, like people really making exciting action, just really pushing the cover work.
And here's that
my 2 cents.
Here's that CG vacation piece that's not getting used, that I drew something different in the background. So this is going to be the variant cover for the Kickstarter book.
My word.
But it was going to be CG vacation, but based on the criteria of the rules and stuff, unfortunately, I'm not going to be done in time to be able to participate in the, like, I think I might be doing maybe some original sketch cards with it. Thank you, friend. Thank you. But to be actually like a pinup in the book, I haven't at least have Goblin Girl in there. Like, it's not going to work out this time around. So it is what it is. But it
did a great job.
It supplied me with a cover for the Kickstarter campaign, so it works out.
That's certainly a cover. You could easily do that as a print as well, I think.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I think I'm going to do it I'm going to give it as a print on the Goblin Girl. It's going to be a free print thrown in with everybody's thing.
Nice.
So I guess there is a stretch goal that has already been met once again.
Boom.
But,
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get us out of here before my dogs start going any crazier. But Dan, thank you so much for joining me this morning, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's your book, your team. You as a guy are a very professional individual. I try
my best.
Yeah, and also you've been in comics for a minute too, so just you're not even really, to the backers out there who feel like there's always some worry with crowdfunding. Like not with Dan here. He's got his head on straight. He's got a couple books under his belt already. So
Been living it since the late '90s.
There we go. That's the dream era, everybody. For some, I suppose it just depends, really. But anyways, before I keep rambling, Dan, I'm gonna go ahead and bump you to the back here. All right, goodbye. And Pedro has some more technical issues. Obviously, he didn't rejoin us for the show, but he will be with us next week, and I believe we'll have Joel Sontag on from the Reaper Destroyer. So that'll be fun. Another beautiful book from another great artist. And on that note, everybody, we will catch y'all next week on the Ginge and Pedro Show. Peace.